Good evening, everyone. It's 7 o'clock. Let's start our meeting tonight. Let's please stand, if you're able, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I just have two changes to the agenda tonight. There is on 7C, the date indicates for the public hearing date of April 8th. That actually should be April 15th. The time is still 6 p.m., but it's April 15th instead of the 8th. And the other thing, small, we don't need to make a specific adjustment, but we do have the Committee on Solidarity doing an update today. I don't know what time she will be here. She may log on or come here in person, but I asked the board to approve when she is ready to give the presentation to allow her to do that. And those are the two changes. Everything else looks good.
I'll make a motion. We approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second that.
All right, Bobby seconds it. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes. Thank you. Has everyone reviewed the minutes for March 11th? I reviewed as well. I saw no changes necessary. Someone make a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of March 11th.
All right, Andrea makes the motion. Second.
I'll second it.
All right, Jim seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes. Thank you very much. Communications and correspondence. I was privileged several days ago. I give them all away. So I was privileged a couple days ago to present to Logan Prince a certificate of congratulations for earning his Eagle Scout award. I have never been to an Eagle Scout presentation before. I got to hear the history of it during that time. There were at least 5 Eagle Scouts there in ages ranging from 75 to Logan at his age. What they have to do to get that done is impressive. Logan has been a student of mine as a middle school track coach. I've seen him grow up. I've seen him do a number of things so far. Couldn't be prouder of him. And I presented to him this certificate of congratulations from our board. Would someone like to read this? If not, I'm happy to. I just volunteered myself.
I was gonna say, I think you'd be disappointed.
I would be happy to. And again, I'm real proud of him and his family. And it's just nice to see that band of brothers and sisters there to honor him. So may it be known, this certificate has been presented by the Portland Board of Selectmen to honor Logan Prince on his achievement of the Eagle Scout Court of Honor Award, the highest rank attainable in the Boy Scouting program, for his outstanding work performance, dedication, and unselfish service as a member of the Portland Troop No. 2 Boy Scouts of America. Logan's leadership service project provided him the opportunity to demonstrate his ability to lead others while performing a project for the benefit of the community. Logan's Eagle Scout service project was to design, build, and lead a group to install octagon picnic tables sourced from lumber obtained from Portland's own deep sawmill and pour a large handicapped accessible concrete pad at the Portland Senior Center. His project is a collaborative project including town services, senior center, state deep sawmill, scouts, scout leaders, family, and friends. This project achieved great success and appreciation by all. On behalf of all the citizens of Portland, we commend your exceptional accomplishments and congratulations, presented by me, as well as signed by all the board members here as well. So, Logan, congratulations. Nice job. You're going to do great things. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations.
Very nice. All right, public comments. Is there anyone online? Anyone in the audience? Not yet? Very good. All right, new business. So we have before us tonight a contract agreement with Tyler Technologies. They're the ones that will be doing our reval. I have Richard, our assessor, here as well, if anyone has any questions, but why don't you review this? And they have done work with us before. They were the only bidder, sole bidder on this.
Yeah, they're the one. Yeah.
Okay, actually, I'll just have you just go for a second then. I'll have to go just for a second. Yeah, just for a second. Well, I got you here. You came all the way out.
Yeah.
So you just give a kind of a quick rundown on the reeval and the half year, how we do that real quickly.
Well, we're going to be doing a reval update this year, just a statistical reval update, which is not the full knock on the doors, visit every property one. And it's going to be in effect for October 1st, 2026. So this is basically the Tower Technology Company that been doing a rebate last probably all the rebate since I can remember here, probably the last 20 years or so. So yeah, they gave us a bid and we'll be able to get that down to our budget numbers. So we can go ahead and utilize them. We'll get that project started sooner or later,
When will it start and when should it be completed, you think?
Probably I would like for them to start in the spring. And we'll have probably get notices out and formal hearings on probably November.
Okay.
So they're going to be probably here through probably through the course of the VA, February, March next year, type of thing. So I think it's a good year or so once it start.
Right, great. Any questions at all? That's great. Thank you very much, Rich. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. All right, who would like to,
Yep, I'll do it. All right, I'll make a motion that we adopt the resolution titled Contract Agreement with Tyler Technologies, Inc., dated March 18th, 2026. Resolved that the Board of Selectmen hereby authorizes the first selectman to enter into an agreement with Tyler Technologies, Inc. of 7701 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas, 66210, or RFP number 2026-27, to provide reappraisal and revaluation services of real property for the October 1, 2026 grand list. Total contract amount is approximately $135,000.
all right, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second. Any discussion?
Right.
They've been with us for a while. They know us. We got it under budget, so very good. All right, call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Right, thank you, Rich. We also have next a resolution request for waiver of bid requirements for NAP Engineering. I have Jason here as well to talk a little bit more about this. We got a little bit earlier today at 6 o'clock. Now you get to hear the rest of the story.
Jason Morocco, Director of Public Works. So before you is a bid waiver request for NAP engineering for our chart reader for the sewer plant. So we have chart readers down the sewer plant that keep track of vital records and data over time. And those readers, one of them is not working. Another one, the pen on it is very temperamental. So every time we have to change the paper, we say a little prayer before we do so. So the reason for the bid waiver is because NAP Engineering is our sole provider for all our SCADA in our current plant and in our pump stations. So yes, we could have went out to bid, but going out to bid would have been, this is the exact equipment we want, no substitutions. So I felt that it was appropriate to come before the board and ask for a bid waiver because we are over the 15,000 threshold. Just so that all the equipment in our stations will all be the same. These chart readers will be kind of like the first step to upgrading our plant moving forward in the near future.
I just got one question. Would you expect a big difference in price if you did go out to bid?
No, I talked with NAP trying to lower their price. We got a little lower, but not a lot. So no, because they are the sole provider of this technology and software that anybody else who would bid, it would be a different type of equipment and software that we already don't have. With NAP and with this software and this equipment, we already have it in our other stations. So there's no learning curve. We already use it now.
Any other questions? All right, Jason, thank you very much.
I always like to ask Mr. Dillon because I don't want him to feel left
Right.
out.
Mr. Dillon.
All sounds good, Jason. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, you got it right. All right,
Okay.
if we're ready, Vin,
Ready?
would you like to read this?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution by the Board of Selectmen dated March 18th, 2026. Request for waiver of bid requirements, NAP Engineering. Whereas the town of Portland Water Pollution Control Facility, hereafter WPCF, has chart readers that are beginning to fail, and the WPCF is interested in new paperless videographic recorder equipment as part of the continual plant and system improvements. And whereas WPCF personnel have identified issues with the current chart readers and equipment and proper functioning equipment, and the chart recordings provide valuable data to the WPCF personnel in the operations of the plant. And whereas a quote from NAP Engineering of Prospect, Connecticut for a Eurotherm to sell 6180A large case paperless videographic recorder with related required equipment, software, and labor has been received at approximately $23,500. Whereas NAP Engineering has worked as a vendor for the department for many years and has much experience with the systems at WPCF. Now, therefore, be it resolved that in the best interests of the town pursuant to sections 1208, section 7 of the Portland Charter, the Board of Selectmen hereby waives the bidding requirement of section 1208 of the Portland Charter as it pertains to utilizing NAP Engineering as the vendor to provide new updated chart recorder equipment, related software, and services to get the new plant and systems improvement operational. And be it further resolved that the Board of Selectmen authorizes the first selectman, Michael A. Pelton, to act on behalf of the town of Portland to enter into any agreement related to those improvements.
I'll second it.
Right, second by Jim. All right, any further discussion?
Having done this in the past, I know exactly why he's doing it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Keeps us consistent.
Absolutely. All right, with that, call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion passes. Again, thank you very much. Jason, one question. When will they, how long does it take to get this and how long to get it set up?
3 to 4 6 weeks time on the equipment.
All right, so in about 2 months or so, it may be ready to go. Okay, all right, very good. Yeah, or sooner. Okay, very good. All right, I see we have our Committee on Solidarity member here. Would you like to go up? Would the board mind if she goes up
Yeah.
now? We'll do that, right? And then we'll do
Yeah.
the school. All right,
Come on up.
come on up, just identify your name, and who you're with. and-
Special. Janet Ellsworth, I'm the newest member of the Solidarity Committee. They told me what to say. So anyways, so first, thank you for all your continued support for the Solidarity Committee. It's an important in these times. So just to update you on what they've been working on Saturday, February 21st, and I think some of you might have been there, was the Voices of Portland that we focused on Black History Month. It was really successful and there was over 100 attendees. The room was packed. It was great. The next Voices of, did I say the Voices of Portland or America? I keep saying the Voices of America. I think
I did.
I think it did.
So the next Voices of Portland is Saturday, May 2nd, and they're going to focus on the Asian American Pacific Islanders Heritage Month. And there's going to be speakers from both Portland's present and past that will be doing presentations at that. Some Pride updates. A craft swap was held in February that had great turnout. They will be holding another one in the future. I don't know the date of it yet. And all of the leftover craft items were donated to the Revive Art Supply in Middletown. And then on Thursday, May 14th, there will be Solidarity will be having an event for tie-dyeing and sign-making event to prepare for the Pride Parade that's going to be held in Middletown on June 2nd. And there will be more information coming on where and exact time and stuff. A quick reminder that some members of the Solidarity Committee meet every Thursday morning at 7:30 to 8:30 for a democracy rally on the corner of Main, and 66, and everyone is welcome to join us. And the last thing, this is very quick, the last thing is just a reminder that anybody is welcome to join our meetings that are held the second Tuesday of every month at the Senior Center at 7 o'clock, and they can either join in person or Zoom. And that's it.
That's awesome.
No questions?
Actually, I have one question.
Okay.
There's always one. There'll be an easy one.
Good.
Why did you join the group? Why did you become part of this?
Well, oh, this is on tape. Actually, I've been involved in the town for a while.
Mhm.
And for years, I did different things. When my kids were in school, bottle drives and sports boosters and stuff like that and scouting. Then I moved on and I was actually on the original committee that did the ethics ordinance, that wrote it. And then I stepped back, was working while I was working through all that too. And then I needed something and I wanted to be involved in the town. And I think it's really important, especially in a small town, that people get involved. And I know there's a lot of our age group that's involved. I wish we had younger folks involved, you know, but it's hard when you've got school age kids and working full time. So I think whoever can do it should do it.
Mhm.
And so I tried a couple of other places and they weren't the right fit. So I'm hoping this is the right fit because I want to do something that would make an impact with the community.
That's wonderful. That's what I'm sure they're getting a lot from you. So this is absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. See, that was easy, right? You can go up again if you want to.
I think once was enough. for
Yeah,
me.
once, all right, there we go. There you go. We're 1 for 1. It's working out good. So, all right. Have a good night. Absolutely. All right.
Rich,
Rich, have a
tired.
good night as well. All right. So 7C. This board has talked a great deal over the last couple of months about the school renovation project. There's a number of year history with different committees that have talked about what we do with the schools, what plan we want to follow, et cetera. And I guess the process starts in earnest tonight. Tonight, what I'm asking everyone to do, what I'm asking us to do is we want to authorize our first meeting that we want to set up. We want to authorize a public meeting for April 15th to start this process off. What I'm hoping happens over the next 8 weeks, 6 weeks, between now and ideally referendum day on May 11th, is to get a great deal of engagement from the town, to get a great deal of conversation, a great deal of discussion and questions about the project in detail. I want everyone that's a voter in town to understand the details of the project, what the goals are of the project, and how we're going to pay for it and feel comfortable with that. So tonight, I want to start with that process by setting up the first public meeting so that people can hear about it and understand more about it. So I have in front of you the language of tonight. Who wanted to read this? You're gonna, I just want to make sure. Very good. So if you could read this resolution.
Yes, I have to make a motion on the resolution to set a public hearing on bond projects. The Board of Selectmen of the Town of Portland, Connecticut shall hold a public hearing on Wednesday, April 15th, 2026 at the Portland Public Library, 20 Freestone Avenue, Portland, Connecticut at 6 p.m. to obtain public comments and questions regarding a proposal to appropriate $109 million for the following projects. 1, the renovation and expansion of Valley View Elementary School into a pre-K to grade 2 school, the Valley View School Project. 2, the renovation of Gildersleeve Elementary School into a grades 3 to 5 school, the Gildersleeve School Project. 3, various capital improvements at the Portland Middle School, the Middle School Project. And 4, various capital improvements at Portland High School, the High School Project, and collectively with the Valley View School Project, the Gildersleeve School Project, and the Middle School Project, the projects. And to authorize the issuance of the town's bonds or notes in an amount not to exceed $58 million to finance the appropriation, with the balance to be funded by grants received for the projects. The town is projecting reimbursement from the state of Connecticut in the amount of $66,502,080 for the projects.
Mike, if you need a second, I will second that.
I would love that.
John Dillon
second.
seconds. Yep.
All right, very nice. Any discussion before we vote on this? Any comments, discussion? No? All right, you ready to call for the vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Much to be seen. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
On here Tuesday.
Okay. All right, we are flying through 7D, refunds of excess payments.
Make a motion for a refund of excess payment for Joshua Brown, $6.18.
Seconded.
All those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Abstention? Motion passes.
Motion for a refund of excess payment for Ally Financial, $180.41.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes.
Motion for a refund of excess payment, John P. Daniels, $1,077.89 and $1,339.22.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. Thank you.
Motion for a refund of excess payment, Nissan Infinity Trust Lease Trust LLC, $226.60, $122.44, $232.42, $201.28, and $64.01.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. That was quick. All right, next one, old business. Do we have any appointments or reappointments to boards or commissions?
We don't.
We do not.
Okay, do not. Okay, great. Updates on various projects. Nordic Spa, I have no specific update on that. They're continuing the project. Every week I go there, they're continuing to work on it. They're still targeting November as a soft opening. Brainerd Place, again, they are working on getting the second building CO'd. Our folks, our building officials are working with them to work through some issues that they have. So, but it's progressing. And they should have that CO for the second building within a couple of weeks per our team. So that is moving along.
Now, Mike, I know we talked about this. One of the requirements, I believe, is to have the historic buildings weather tighted.
Yes,
I know we did the temporary CO for the first two floors.
yes.
Is the weather tightening of those other buildings in accordance with the agreement,
Yes,
going to be completed before we do the full CO?
yes, they will not give a full CO until they have all three buildings done. So they're working, Sage House right now, they have started some of the work on there to get the outside done. So that will be in force soon. They're talking about the next week or so.
Okay.
So,
So
yes, they're fully
staying in-
aware of the
staying in
requirements.
compliance.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, they're reminded constantly by our team that they need to follow what they signed on. So yes,
Well, we gave them a partial CO,
right.
which they shouldn't have,
Our,
because they're not holding up their end of the bargain.
they were, in fairness, our team was comfortable with
But it
the,
doesn't matter what our
No,
team
no,
thinks, it's what our agreement is.
no, I understand. I understand that, but it was based on the totality of the situation. So I can, offline, I can give you more of the rationale there, but that was a rationale. But they're not giving them the full one because they need to have it done before that.
But it doesn't matter, they're already using half the building.
They have 2 floors that they have 6 units in their field right now. Yes. So, but it was a decision made by the team based on the totality of it. So,
Well, I think the board should have made that decision and not a team. Because we were the ones that signed the agreement with them, not the team. That's just my opinion.
no, I understand.
Just keep-
I'll get you more details on that.
I don't need more details.
Right.
It's, we just keep giving and giving and we don't seem to ever get anything back from that development. We're always the one that adjusts to please him. And we never get anything in return.
In fairness, they've had to, in a number of times, stop projects, redo portions. They've been held to the fire on a number of things that they've wanted to get done and haven't gotten done. Jersey Mike's is a great example. There was issues with a payment and a relatively small payment due that held up a project that they could have finished maybe 3 months ago. And part of that was on their dime because they didn't do it. They didn't have it. Part of it was on us. Some of it didn't get sent to the right place. So there was a number of things, but there's been a give and take. Ray and the entire team that's doing that have in cases, been flexible, in other cases, have not done that. So it's not a straight thing with this one incident. It's again, it's a complicated situation, but I hear what you're saying, and they do hold them to the fire. But there's been some back and forth on various issues. So, but I will look into it again, though. The significance is noted. So, any other questions on Brainerd?
Nope.
All right. River access project. They have the road down to the river. They haven't picked up the project over the last 2 weeks. They were waiting for the snow to melt. Weather's better. They had reassigned some of their crews with the cold weather. They are now rescheduling to start again. There isn't a lot left to do down there. They still have to put the fence up, or they have to finalize the fence. They have to finalize the road, but a lot of the hard work has been done already with the good weather we had about 6-7 weeks ago. So we're still aiming for a May ribbon cutting, I guess, is what we're shooting for. So that's coming up quick, but they feel confident in that. I will keep everyone posted on that as well. I should be talking to them this Friday to get the details. Airline Trail, we're still waiting for Eversource. They have indicated that they will be assisting us with funds as well. They are contributing additional funds and helping us with a grant that they are going to help sponsor. So we may have that, but we'll be applying for that in October, November of this year when that grant becomes available. So nothing will happen before then. What we will see between now and summer is East Hampton's portion of the trail, which is not connected to ours yet, will be completed by the summertime. So that will allow someone to go from Portland up to Willimantic. So that'll be nice. And for those that use the trail a lot, whether they're runners or bikers, that's a big deal. So that should spur interest in getting the rest of it done between where we are right now and getting over the bridge to Middletown. So that is moving along as well. POCD, they're actively going. I should have brought Dan tonight. We'll cover it on our next meeting, but there's a lot of work that's happened with that. They've had a couple meetings and a lot of impact from residents on what our folks want this town to look like over the next 10 years. So I'll make sure that we have a full presentation on that in the next meeting. The water and town well, we talked about that tonight. We pushed that along as well. So thank you very much. And upgrades to WPC. When I bring Jason in next time, we'll get a full update on all the projects going on as well as what's going on down there. And that's all I have. Status and committee reports.
Yeah, I was not able to go to the water and sewer or Parks and Rec, so I'm gonna try to get with the chairs and get an
Okay.
update for next time.
Okay, great. All right, nothing else on that? Good. Public comment. All right.
Kim Hannah, 3 Butler Lane, Portland. I'm really happy that you guys made the motion tonight and are gonna pursue the school project and get that out to referendum. I think this time, I think is a really well thought out project. I think the work that the committee did was great, and it's a necessity for the town. It just is. I didn't make the Valley View tour, but I did the Gildersleeve one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in all fairness to the students, the teachers, they need this. I think your challenges are gonna be getting people to understand. It's can't be kitschy and gimmicky. It's just gotta be clear and concise. And unfortunately, social media is your friend and your enemy. It's, it's a great tool to reach masses, and it's a great tool for people that don't want to help out or approve to take one little tidbit and twist it and get a lot of attention. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, I think, for you guys to get the right message out to get this, because if this referendum doesn't go through, I don't know where we're going to be. It takes too long to start over again and get another project, and the deterioration's not going to stop. So good luck to you on that.
Thank you.
All I can say, good luck to you on that. And then the other thing, just a personal observation, it's something that stuck with me after Monday night down there at Gildersleeve. There's a term I've heard for a little while now from some of our town volunteers, employees, like the committee and stuff. And it kind of bothers me. you know, last year in June, we had a meeting, like an EDC meeting down at Brainerd Place that Dan ran, and there was a lot of business owners there, and they had a lot of suggestions what would make things better for them and what they wanted him to go forward with. And he said, I'm perfectly willing to work on that, but I've got a little bit of PTSD after going through Brainerd Place and everything. And I'm like, huh, nobody should have PTSD, you know? And then a couple weeks ago, talking to Carla Johnson, and he said one night, he hears pouring rain. He's like, oh my God, the leaks at Gildersleeve. And Debbie looked at him and said, you're retired. It's not your problem. He says, that job gave me so much PTSD that it still wakes me up at night. And the other night, Bob Shea said the same thing. He said, this place gives me PTSD. That's hard for me to hear personally, because they're doing their jobs. And it's not fair. I don't know how I don't think there's a solution to that. You know, you can't control what people say on social media, what people put in a letter to River East, you know, how people approach things. But it's kind of concerning that so many people are so stressed out over just doing what they think is best for us. And maybe you guys have got a smarter mind than mine, and maybe there's a way to kind of help them out, but it's something to hear it a few times in a short amount of time. It's kind of concerning.
You know what I found? And I think that's really insightful. I think I found that people that really care about what they do, teacher,
Absolutely.
job, having a good result, they own that. They take that home. And,
Mhm.
you know, it's like the nurse that takes
I
home
did.
all the stresses. And I get that. And I guess you kind of want some of that in people. You want them to care enough and maybe do the actions that
Yep.
get necessary. But even with the school, I mean, I'm very much in favor of the project just because I've listened to everything, and the cost of not doing anything is far more, because it's fixing old buildings. It's going to cost more every year, and we're not going to get the money back from the state. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. And, you know, we're at a point where we're starting to grow as a town, and we have more funding available with Brainerd, which I know a lot of people were against initially. Now they want the tax money to be
Yep.
able to. So, but I think it's just a caring bit. And I think that's a double-edged sword.
It is. I get that part. You know, I was the same way, but it's just, you know, it kind of bothers you a little bit on. And I did have one other question about the school. When you read how that's going to be worded, the parts of the work that are going to be done at the high school and the middle school, will that have the same presentation? Will we be able to tell people, just like we can tell them what's going on at Valley View and Gildersleeve, exactly what that work is going to be? Because the reason I asked that, because I'm old, when we voted on the high school project, that was actually a 3-phase project. When we voted on that, it was doing the middle school, high school, and then there was work at Valley View that was going to be done, and then there was work at Gildersleeve that was going to be done. And when they presented it, they went into detail about what was going to be done at the high school, middle school. And then there was just these beautiful pictures of Valley View and Gildersleeve, and they kind of got pushed in a closet as that work went along, and that work never got done. That's where we are now. So I think you have to be specific with that part of it, even though it's more general, you know, it's not the important stuff. People need to know that if it's a roof, it's a roof. If it's heating and air conditioning, it's heating and air conditioning, so that it doesn't get forgotten when all the pretty stuff is done. You know, so that's just my opinion.
No, I think that's another good observation. They're very specific about like the plans for renovation of
Right.
Gildersleeve and Valley View. And the high school, middle school, there's a very specific plan in terms of HVAC and roofing, which are expensive, but we still get some reimbursement back from the
Right.
state. So yes, it's very clear. It's very outlined. There's no fuzz in here in terms of unknowns. And I know, I moved into town 2000. And so I wasn't even aware of all the details of this project. My kids, you know, they weren't, but they were into younger. But I know that they built the Taj Mahal, they built a lot of wasted space, and they spent a lot of money foolishly on that project, and that will not be repeated here. They've looked at the schools, they've tried to right size them so it fits in. So I think that lesson was definitely taken and learned. So, but that's a point taken for the people that grew up with that project. They want to know that it's not going to be repeated.
Right. And we've done it with other projects in town. I can tell you, I've been voting in referendums for 50 years. We've had a lot of 2-part referendums, and 1 part got done. Because the pretty stuff gets done, and then the other stuff gets pushed aside. We can't keep doing that. So, but that was just one question I had when I was looking over that stuff, if it was specified, just like Valley View and Gildersleeve are.
Yeah, I'm glad you came to that meeting though. I
Yeah.
wish we had more people there, but I'm glad. you came.
Well, I wish more were too, because they're all gonna be in the River East on Friday saying something about it, but they weren't there.
Right.
So.
Right.
You know, that's why I say good luck to you. And when you're promoting it, I think it just has to be clear and concise and not kitschy or, just the facts,
Yeah.
because that's what people hear.
What I think, I mean, for me, the biggest sell point of this, if I had to, and I'm not trying to sell it, I'm just trying to present it, is we finally get to right size our schools, right? We
Mhm.
got sixth grade up to middle school. Now we finally have the right number of kids up there.
Right.
And we don't need three schools, right? We don't.
We
We've been overpaying $1 million a year and plus on three schools. And I think we're closing the right one. And I know the one big question that comes up, at least the last referendum, is what do you do with Brownstone? And we have 5 years if this plan passes, which I hope, we have 5 years to get the smartest people in town that really want to see something with
Right.
that building done. And 5 years from now is a long time with all the projects coming on. It could be a different town in a lot of ways, a different Main Street.
It could be.
So I like that, but there's definitely ideas about what we could do with that school, concrete plans with that could be done. But I think it kind of checks all the boxes, I think, in my opinion.
I mean, we're not a big school system, and 5 buildings is way too much to maintain for 1,200 kids.
For safety, for cost, for
Everything. The safety factors at Gildersleeve, I was just blown. I was like, these poor kids, there's no safety there. Absolutely, right now, there's no safety, no security for those kids, so it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And it's gonna fall on you guys to get it.
Yeah.
To the town the right way, so.
And one last question for you while you're up there. So you grew up in town.
Yep.
You know a lot of people. So as a board, I think collectively, I think we feel good about this, right? And we want to get the word out. So what would you say to your friends out there that grew up in town on here, from what you've heard? Why should they consider this and think about this and perhaps vote yes if that's what you feel as well?
Well, from my perspective,
Yes.
there's a lot of reasons. Number one, the conditions of those schools are not good. It's not fair to the kids and it's not fair to the teachers. I'm always one, and I said it even with the other project, give them a great building that they can do their job in. We don't need granite curbs, we don't need marble facades, and I don't see that in these pictures. We need to provide the teachers with a room that they can do their job the way it's done in 2024, not the way it was done when my kids were in school in 1990. Things have changed. And the other thing is, I think what I've seen is this committee that put this together did a lot of due diligence. They really went down to the bottom and came up. The high school project, I didn't see that happening at all. I saw a lot of hurry up because we want, as you said, this Taj Mahal. So let's sell the Taj Mahal and not worry about the rest of it. But I think that they have covered all their bases. I don't know how to answer the people that keep insisting that either we're in this position because the Board of Education rated their maintenance budget to pay for frills, or I've heard it when I was younger and I didn't like it when senior citizens said it, but it's the fact of life that now they're struggling a little bit. And so their answer is, I don't have kids in school, why should I do this? And that I don't really have an answer for, other than when your kids were in school, we did the best we could with what we knew and what we had. That's, but we put it off too long. You can't rewrite what didn't get done. It didn't get done. But you can't ignore it because it didn't get done.
I mean, we're here because we had more schools than we needed. That cost, and you can't maintain 5 schools without spending a lot of money, and we didn't have a lot of money to do it.
And what I didn't understand until the track issue came up was the town is responsible for all of that. All of our buildings, towns, firehouses, town hall. I thought that the schools actually had their own fund, their own capital fund. I didn't know it all came out of, the non-recurring capital budget. So you can only put so much in there every year. And I know that their list comes in this long, and every year you guys have to cut it and things get cut. And, firehouses get delayed sometimes. Things get delayed.
Mhm.
In your own home, things get delayed sometimes. Sometimes you put a Band-Aid on it knowing that it's gonna have to be fixed in 5 or 10 years, and it's gonna cost you more than if you'd done it the first time, but you didn't have the money the first time. Band-Aids happen because they're a necessity sometimes.
Thanks, Kim.
But
No,
that's
I
it.
really appreciate that, Kim. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Well said. All right, informal discussion. I don't have anything.
I actually do.
Oh, perfect.
So, the committee on, I just got a question for, basically, this is open discussion for us, right? The Committee on Solidarity, right, was an officially sanctioned committee of the Board of Selectmen back in 2021, right? I just read the charter. But what are your thoughts as selectmen on the mentioning of the No Kings rally, the democracy rallies to us here? Is that part of what the original scope of, I mean, people are entitled to do whatever they want, but is under the umbrella of an officially sanctioned uh, town committee that was voted on unanimously, bipartisanly, back in 2021, we think about what was happening in the world. Excellent. I applaud it. I would support anything they do. But this is, I think, I just kind of welcome what your thoughts are on this. Basically, report, part of their charter is once a month, they come in and they report to the Board of Selectmen. And in light of everything that was happening in our country, it's appropriate, right? But to be talking about the No Kings rally and the democracy rally where it seems to me to be something, I'm just curious what the thoughts are of selectmen. on
Is it the
this.
feeling that it seems political?
I don't know.
Political.
That's what I'm
Just
asking.
ask- Yeah.
And believe me, I'm just asking it. I'm just curious, and my concern is really 100% strictly one of governance. Really, that's really what it is. It was established in 2021 as an officially sanctioned committee of the Board of Selectmen. And rightfully so. It should not, in its official capacity, in my opinion, sponsor or endorse political rallies of any kind, regardless of viewpoint. So that would be almost like the America 250 committee goes the other way, right? But this was an officially sanctioned committee, not like just I think the standard should apply equally to everyone, all parties, and I'm just curious what the thoughts are at
So
this
from-
table.
From my perspective, I don't see them coming in here making it, we could perceive that it's political, what they're doing. To me, they've come in here and reported that, that it happens. We all know it happens. It's there, and there are members
No
of
problem.
that committee that obviously participate in that.
That's okay.
But they've not presented it. They have not been out there or at this podium presenting it as a political event or asking for I don't think they're here saying that we're as a board are sanctioning that. They're just reporting on their activities.
Should they be? Should that sentence have been left out, I guess is my point. They're doing a bunch of wonderful things.
Would
Uh,
they not report on it?
Well, no, it was said to join them at their
Oh,
every
And
Thursday from this time to this time. And it's a one-sided political meeting that goes on at that time.
so imagine the America 250 committee, I can't believe I even said that, but imagine if they went one way, right, and said, we're gonna have pro XYZ.
If it was
It-
gonna be anti-American.
And I guess I'm just kind of looking at some notes from the December 9th meeting of the Committee on Solidarity, where they actually said, is it okay to bring up these democracy, No Kings rallies and mention it at the Board of Selectmen meeting? And they agreed, yes, I think it would be okay to do that. It's actually in their notes. So I'm just wondering, hey, look, I applaud everything they do. I may join them. You know, if something comes up that, I'm glad that there's someone watching, right? To make sure that, you know, all that ugliness doesn't make its way into our town. But I think this crossed the line in my opinion. And I think everything that they're doing, everything that they said is fantastic. And I acknowledge that 90% of the people are on that committee. Fine, you could do whatever you want. We are a free country, right? But I think for it to be reported here, I think is inappropriate.
But is it, but is it reporting to so the town is listening, and is it the join us, is it people in the town, or is it join us, the Board of Selectmen? Or the Board of Selectmen thinks that the town, I mean, I'm just asking, I hear what you're saying, Vin. I do
Yeah.
hear, and I think that it was in their minutes,
I think
like,
anybody else
frankly,
can.
because it was questioned by, I think we all recall a letter was in the River East about it, I believe. There were things on social media about it, I think Mike might have had a conversation about it.
Yeah,
He's asked.
I'm not even thinking about.
So it is a subject that before this has been brought up in the same, asking the same questions that you're asking.
So I'll ask my question again, I guess, is reference to that committee working on that, what this selectman approved in their charter. And I'm reading their charter. It doesn't appear that that's in there. It was basically, in a nutshell, it was to take care of all, make sure that none of the ugliness in the world makes its way into our nice town.
That assembly on Thursdays is against what their title says, solidarity. That's not solidarity on Thursdays. That's a one-sided political statement.
And my concern is 100% one of governance, really. It has nothing to do with, I'm not picking sides one way or the other,
Well, I think,
honestly.
I think their whole focus it's democracy. Okay, I've been involved. I know Liz Sabino has been a champion of that committee. She basically formed that committee. Has been reporting on that. They brought the Black History Month. We did presentations at the high school. She's going to be, I just got an email from her today. They're going to be focusing on Asian Americans. Okay,
Right.
so this is all part of their general.
That
he's a-
all
That's
falls
fine.
under the
Yeah.
Committee on Solidarity.
Perfect.
That doesn't on Thursdays. That's what he's
They
saying.
could do what they want. And
Every other thing they've done, Juneteenth, Black History
I
Month,
attend.
veterans events, all of that is what the committee is supposed to be about. The protesting on Main Street on Thursdays is political. The committee shouldn't be political. If it's gonna be political, then it shouldn't be funded, because we're not funding anyone to oppose them. It's supposed to be a solidarity committee that represents everyone and brings everyone together.
Well, and is it the members of the committee going there on their own, or they're holding the solidarity banner? We're down there.
Oh, they can go on their own, of
No.
course. Or I mean,
Right.
this is
Yeah.
the United
Not,
States.
Solidarity doesn't sponsor, there are two groups that sponsor it. TACT, I forget the other one, Cindy Tyler's put it out there. They don't sponsor that. Members of their committee attend that, but it's not a committee on solidarity function. So,
But the Committee on Solidarity shouldn't promote it.
right,
That's-
I know, but I just want to be clear
Yeah.
that it's not their, that it's not the Committee on Solidarity who has organized that.
But when a representative from the committee stands at the podium and says, join
Right.
us,
Right, right. But there, so.
it's implied
So they-
that they're
I-
sponsoring it. Or
I do hear what you guys say.
Yeah.
And I know that, it's a slippery slope here. But they will tell you that everyone is welcome there. So. Okay, right. And I've seen the signs that are there as well, but they aren't coming in, I don't know. It's a tough,
I don't care that the people are there doing it. It's
I know you don't.
the
And I know
it's
that
the
Vin doesn't
committee
either.
promoting
But
it
it's what the committee,
that-
right.
shouldn't be done.
I think it's
Yeah.
great that we live in a country where you could do that and protest something peacefully. That's why we love our country, right? But for it to be mentioned as part of a report out to us multiple times since I've been here, this is the second time. And I'm just saying I just curious what your thoughts are, but I just think everything was just that one sentence. Because they do wonderful, wonderful work.
So just to get closer, so the line is, hey, come on down. That one last step.
Right, that they were inviting. His
Right.
concern is the invitation.
And
It's the promotion
that's what-
of the event
and the
from the
invitation-
town committee.
And the invitation was coming from the committee, not, hey, I personally will be there, you know, those that, so that's the fuzzy line. So, and how do we demarcate that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I understand.
Okay, this is why we have these discussions, right?
This is, yeah, this is good.
I think this is healthy.
It's democracy.
You need,
Right.
It totally is,
Yeah.
right?
like, you need to move up. You're way too far away.
Is that better?
And again, it's 100% one of governance, has nothing to do with, I don't
No.
care if they're talking about, being nice to animals or whatever. Honestly, has nothing to do with it.
So I think what it reminds me too, especially this time, this age, where just being able to talk about difficult things is hard for people. People can't disagree without being disagreeable nowadays. So finding common ground and finding things we can agree upon. But I do understand what you're saying. I think it's a slightly gray area in terms of how you do that, but I could see the line that you're drawing on that and where that would trip something that says, yeah, you can go there on your own. You can be part of it. You're not organizing, but if you want to invite everyone, if you want to invite the entire board there to personally come down there, because I'll be there, I get that. But there's a line where it's doing it as the group. So I understand that. So what I will do is I will speak with our attorney just to get a legal view on this thing and how it's done in other places and how it's viewed, to get a legal handle and how that would be in terms of how we create it and responsibility. So I will have something.
I don't think the attorney needs to be involved. It's that political talk is not part of the committee.
No, I understand that, but I want to
On
make sure.
either side.
On either side.
Right, but
You know, That's not what the Committee on Solidarity is supposed to be doing.
right.
Well, their
well-
other events are fine
Right.
and good.
But I want to make sure there's not another issue with this that maybe I'm not thinking of or we're not considering. Either legal.
Well, I
in terms
think
of-
it's, yeah, I mean, I think it comes into, why when we give our personal points of view in the paper, right, we will basically say, we are writing this as an individual, even though we're a member of the board, right? But we're not presenting, we're very clear not to present those views,
Right.
Our personal views as the will of this board. And I think that's probably the differentiation that has to happen. If somebody wants to come up here, if that member wants to come up here and give a report, they should keep probably the political stuff out of it, stick to what's in the charter.
Mhm.
But that same member is very much welcome to stick around to public comment
Yeah.
and say, we're going to be running, hey, I'm going to be there as an individual, and I invite you all to be there or people to join us.
And
That is,
That
that
thing
is
is
completely different.
And
Yes.
depending on what they're talking about,
Yeah.
I may join them.
There you go.
And I think having that demarcation of ensuring we keep the politics out will ensure that board remains sort of as successful as they have been.
Agreed.
And it's fun. Great conversation. Good point then. All right. There you go. Right. Agreed. And it very well may have, they do a lot of things and.
And she's new, and I just felt that a new
Oh, yeah.
member and nervous, and it's something that she does and she reported out. So I don't think the intent was, yeah.
Right, stay in your lane. I think that's fair. By the way, she mentioned she had done ethics ordinances before, didn't she?
I know, so.
I wrote her.
Her name
I
down?
already wrote her name.
I see that, yeah.
She's been voluntold on that one. so. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say a word,
Yeah.
but everyone just went, what? All right. So speaking of that, we have a couple, any more informal discussion? This is great. This,
The
this,
world runs on Dunkin' Donuts and Portland runs on volunteers.
100%, exactly. Who also need to get medicated big time. All right. The follow-up items, ethics ordinance, we will reach out to Janet and see if she wants to
Yes.
help. But I say that with the smile.
Volunteer.
Yeah.
But we will be attacking, and of course, we do have to talk about, how much money
Right.
we want to put into the
funding.
charter revision. I will have an estimate of what it was last time, but that will be something we'll need to discuss next week in terms of how much we want to put aside for that, because we did commit to that starting after this budget process of June. That's coming up quick. So we'll try to come up with some numbers for you at that time. And with that being said, Bobby,
Make a motion, we adjourn.
and
Second,
all those in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Okay, John's waving vigorously. So that's a yes from him. All right, motion passes. We are good.